In order to fully understand our relationship, we must fully understand the role that we play in the relationship. More often than not, we begin a relationship in one specific role, and over time, it changes and morphs into something completely different. And in the process, we don't see it because we're so close to the situation. More often than not, we can go from being a significant other to a peacemaker, a significant other to a caretaker, or a significant other to a parental figure. In this relationship, we will examine that and examine what the role change does to the relationship. Okay, let's go. Hi friends, glad to be back today. And today we're going to be talking about what role changes do to the relationship, especially role changes that we're not really aware it's happening, okay? And this is critical because we have to realize what is happening in the relationship and be able to be mindful of it to actually change back to the original role that we were in, okay? So let's begin. What happens when we have these role changes? What happens out of it? What's created from it, okay? Let's start with the first thing, and that is blurred boundaries, okay? When we have these changes in the relationship, we have what I consider blurred boundaries, and you know what I consider even almost no boundaries, okay? So we've gone from being a significant other, a partner, an equal partner in this relationship, right? I mean, equal, it's underlying that, to something completely different, okay? And so it makes you question not only who you are, right, but who are they? Okay, who am I and who are they and what are we doing in this relationship, okay? If you've gone from that partner to that caretaker, how did we get there and why did you take on that other role? Okay, and this is very important because it starts blurring boundaries and it starts confusing what the relationship is about. The second thing that this role change does is a distinct change to the relationship dynamic. It changes the relationship both emotionally and physically. So the emotional connection changes and the physical connection changes. And let me give you an example. When you become a caretaker of somebody, it's like the physical connection or the sexual connection usually starts dwindling because you're feeling bad about their health, you're concerned about it, and you've kind of gone from one role to another, right? And you're also interfacing with them on a different emotional level. You've gone from partner emotional connection to caretaker emotional connection. That's going to feel very different, and it's also going to change a lot of your actions and thoughts. And the third thing that it does is it creates unseen barriers, right, between the role you used to play and yourself, okay, because now we have an inner turmoil, right, because we used to be one way and now we're doing something different. It also creates barriers between them and their previous role, because when we change roles, they kind of change roles, right? It also creates a barrier between the previous mindset and the new mindset, but it also creates barriers between the previous actions and the new actions. Okay, you see how deep this gets? Because now everybody gets changed and enmeshed into a different program. So for example, if you went from partner to parental figure, so let's say that your spouse was doing something that you're trying to get them to stop, and now you're having to be on top of them about things and watching them, and when are you coming home, or what are you doing, or how much have you drank, or whatever that role looks like. All of a sudden you're becoming like a parent, and that emotional connection changes. Obviously the physical connection between you two is beginning to morph and change as well, but also the way you see the other person is changing. You're almost seeing them as somebody younger, or somebody that you need to tell what to do, or you need to be there for, or you need to ridicule, or you need to, give them advice, whatever that looks like. And that changes the relationship, right? And it changes that dynamic. And it's hard to think past that new role back to where you were previously. The fourth thing that it does is that the longer we're in this new role, right, the longer the new programming exists, okay, the more that we get inundated with that programming, the more mindfulness and work it takes to get the relationship back on track, okay? So if we've been a caretaker for a long time, it can feel almost impossible to become that person's partner again. You see what I'm saying? We have to work really hard to realize not only how our role has changed, but how, because of our role change, how they are connecting with us and how their role has changed based on how our role has changed, because now things are all changed in the relationship. And see, this is really dramatic, because if you're in a relationship that has had a role change, we have to understand, why did it change in the first place? Okay, what was the reason for the change? That's important. Okay, because that is very important, to be able to have a sit-down conversation with your spouse about this change. The second thing that I'm going to ask you is, how do you feel about the change? How do you feel about taking on this role? How do you feel about this connection that you have now? And last but not least, the only way to overcome this change, to get back to being the partner or significant other, is to discuss the change with them, to understand how it happened, how it took place, and things that you want to change, to redevelop the relationship you had and recreate these boundaries that have been blurred. Okay, and that's the only way to be able to get that relationship back that you want. If you're looking for that romantic side of the relationship, if things have gone from, partner to parental figure, that probably doesn't exist anymore, right? If you had a real great emotional connection with your significant other, but now you've become somehow or not the peacemaker in the family, you aren't able to speak your mind anymore. You're not having any sort of outlet for communication anymore, because instead of expressing yourself, you're holding it in so that everybody else is happy. So you see how this doesn't work to create that relationship that we wanted. It actually takes us off target, and a lot of times we get what? Angry, sad, resentful, right? Where did my relationship go? I was able to talk to this person. We had a good emotional connection. Maybe we had a good physical connection. We don't have that anymore. And so that's why this is so important, because we have to be aware of our role changes. And remember, it's not just if we change our role, they're going to change to accommodate, right? So if we're a parental figure now, they're gonna change their role to almost being almost like a childlike figure now. It's almost gonna be like they're letting us parent them to some degree, right? And also, you see how the respect level is changing, and the connection and being able to communicate is changing. So I hope this video has helped you to be more aware of these role changes, because that's what we need to do. We have to be aware of the change so that we can get things back on track. But first off, we have to recognize why we made the change in the first place. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And also, if this video has helped you, inspired you, interested you at all, please give us a like on the video. And in the meantime, in the comment section, have you noticed any role changes in your relationship? How did you deal with the role change? And have you been able to go back to being a partner or significant other? Or have you found yourself stuck in this role and unable to get back the previous relationship? Oh, by the way, don't forget, we have a join option here on the channel too. If you'd like to join, you can just push the join button and you can learn all about it. Exclusive video content just for members only. And I hope this video has helped you. Please share it with anybody that you think needs this message to have clarity and understanding in their relationship. And don't forget to live your true life.